Got it. So welcome to today's video on how to edit videos and how to get them ready for a brand review and how we can start populating our YouTube channel more. So the purpose of this meeting is just for me to encourage everybody on how to do things so that way it's easier for the brand team to review and we can start adding more content to our YouTube channel. So we have Dale and Joanna here that are gonna provide some feedback, and if y'all want, just provide feedback anytime, throughout the session. But I'm just gonna go and just jump right into it, and then just feel free to ask any questions. But if you go to the link within the actual within the invite, you're going to see a bunch of different resources here. So there's going to be a bunch of resources on all the brand templates that we need to create videos and all the applications that we need to get started. So I've broken down the agenda into what we need to download the software that we need, download the brand resources for Adobe Premiere, and then continue to go through there. So the first two things that we need are going to be OBS, which is Open Broadcast Software. And you can download that for Mac OS and make sure you get the Silicon one. And that will be used primarily for the screen recordings, and it can also be used for recording your face with your laptop. And if you have an iPhone, you can actually use your iPhone as the camera, or you can use another camera that's higher quality. But I would recommend downloading this is what I use for all my screen recordings. And if you see here, you can see that I can record the desktop and I set it up with Mac OS screen capture. So the way that OBS works is I create different scenes here on the left that have what are going to be my devices, what it's going to record. And then what I do is I right click here and I add a source and I can add different sources. In this case, I added macOS screen capture. And this is what you see the screen capture here. And if I go into the properties, you can capture only certain windows, you can capture only a certain application, you can capture a certain display, and you can either hide OBS, which I do in most cases, or you can leave it there if you're gonna actually need it for recording something, but most times I hide it. And I also take away show the cursor because it's easier for me to add effects in the videos to see stuff rather than having the cursor, I just hide it. And that's kind of how I record my screen. And then I go from there and I go and just I do start recording and I just record my screen from there. So that's kind of like the way that I do this. And one thing to note is in the preferences, let me make sure I actually show OBS now. This would be a good time to show it. When I go to my preferences, make sure that under video you record in this resolution, which is full HD 1920 by 1080. That should be the resolution that we're recording in. It makes it easier to do the edits and put it up on YouTube and in that size in 16 to 9 aspect ratio. And if we were gonna do Dale and Joanna, correct me if I'm wrong, but if we were gonna do videos like YouTube Shorts, I'm going to experiment with that. It would be the exact opposite. It would be 916, right? For a video on the phone.
Yeah, we would have
Yeah,
to
yeah,
double check the aspect ratio for it, but it is a vertical format.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so it would just be the reverse. And that we won't I won't get too much into that, but that's something that I'm going to be experimenting with this quarter, this new quarter, and I'm going to try to make some shorter YouTube Shorts type of videos. But I'll work with the brand team just to see how we can get that done because YouTube University as well wants some of these shorter format videos. So I'll link the issue for everyone to collaborate in, but we'll go over that later. I just had a call with them today. That's why I'm mentioning it. And that's pretty much the thing that you need to have set up is this format for the YouTube videos. And then under advanced, make sure that you where is it? Automatically remux to MP4. So this format has creates it in an MKV format. That's for OBS, and I don't know what else it's used for, but make sure you automatically remux it to MP4 because you'll be using the MP4 in Adobe Premiere. And then all you have to do is just go here and click start recording. And that's pretty much it. And you start recording, it'll record it, you stop recording, it'll remix it, and it'll save it to whatever location you want. You can set up the location here too in preferences, and you can set the video output for video. Where is it? Output. And you can set what folder you want it to be in. I always pick just movies because that's easy for me to find. So if I go to my desktop, so it's full screen. If I go to my desktop and I go to movies, then I have it here, and you can see this newest thing that I recorded, and then I split it up into projects, ones that are done, ones that are canceled, the ones that I'm working on now for 17.8, for example, and then I'll just put the files in there so I know how to refer back to them. So if I had this one right here and it was for a certain thing, I just put it in projects and then I'd make a new folder for, OBS test. And I put it in here, and then that's where I'll have all my files stored for that particular project. It's just organization. You can do it however you want, but that's just what makes it easy for me to organize. So, okay, so once we have OBS, that's how you record the screen and that's how you go through that. Then the next tool that you need is Adobe Premiere. So, how many of y'all don't have access to that? I think everyone here should pretty much have access. And if you don't, there's like an issue access request handbook, and you can request access there. And here's a sample access request that you can use to get access to Adobe Premiere. So I've added that there. But once you have it, you just download it, install it, and then you'll have Adobe Premiere here, where you can go ahead and create a new project. We can give this project a name, which will be like info session. And then you can choose where it's going to go. I always like to, I'll put it in the new item that I created, OBS test, select, just create it. And then it puts it on my other screen, but then it goes to here where you can import different things. You don't need to do it right away, like select media to import, because maybe you're still generating that media. But what you do is you go here, create a new sequence. You can call it something descriptive, whatever it is that you want, OBS final take. And then you just skip this. And then we have this Adobe Premiere work area. And mine looks different because when you first start it, it'll be in like the test mode. It'll be in like the instructional mode or whatever that has the tiles and the waves for someone that's learning. But I've changed it to be, which I can't even see where it is now. But um, there's a way to change the view. I'm not sure why it's not letting me do it now, but oh, here it is. Sorry, window. And then you can change the workspace to all panels, which is what I technically do. So that way I can use all the different panels and have them available to me. But there's different ways of doing it, which I haven't played around with this too much, and I don't think y'all will either. It's probably more advanced than for the stuff that I'm doing, but it's just to program the interface or whatever. Then from here on the left tab, you can import your media. So I'll import this OBS little test that we did. And then what I can do is I can just drag that here. And you can see that now I have the OBS test here in this. And this is primarily where I'll be working in this little timeline section. But before we get into that, we need to download all the different GitLab templates that are provided by the brand team. So those, if you go back to the notes, are available here. So you can see all the different templates. And I think we might need to get this updated. Just here in templates. Well, I'm using the traditional gradient, but maybe I don't know if we're going to have any that are specific towards GitLab 17, or I don't know, it might be overkill to, do that. But I think for now I'm just using the traditional gradient. Is there any recommendation that y'all have, Joanna or Dale, on like which ones to use? I just use the traditional for now.
Yeah, that's fine. We do have some updates to gradients. I think we definitely probably could do some updates to the template in general and adding the new gradient. So I'll make a note for that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So then here it has all these different video templates. And what I do is I'll just download this folder and then I'll add that to Adobe Premiere. Um, so I'll just wait for that. And also, okay, so I downloaded that. Those will be the templates, and I'll just let me just show you what they look like actually. So if I look at this is going to be like these type of things. So if you have two people, so that way you can show one person on this screen, one person on that screen. This is kind of similar to a video I did with Daniel that showed him and I talking back and forth and like introducing the thing. It's pretty hard, in my opinion, to do videos with two people and to really collaborate on like the different pieces, I think, in post-production anyways. So we'll explore later on for doing multiple people using Riverside instead and making it more of like a sync, but that's outside of the scope of this. But I'll continue to show just how to do it for one person and for demos and things like that. So templates are one thing that we need, and I'll show you how to use those. The second thing that we need is the MoGarts. So these are motion graphic templates. And they're going to do things like little pop-ups on the screen that show text. They're going to do little things that highlight certain, parts of the video that we can do. So I'm going to go ahead and download this as well.
And
So
I'll just add that, from time to time, like Fern might have something that comes up that he's like, oh, it'd be great to have a Mogrit for this. I'm trying to do this. So we can always add to it as you go if you find yourself wanting to do something that we don't have a template for. So just let us know and we'll continue to add to this library.
perfect. No, thank you. And I think those are the only two that we need right now, right? Those are the only two I really use. I'm not sure if we use any other stuff, but the font, I mean, Enter you should already have on your laptop.
Oh, actually, we need to update the font too,
Oh, okay.
because there's a GitLab Sans that we're using now. Um, So we'll put that in there too. But it is important to download the font and make sure that's updated so you can access that font in Premiere.
Okay, perfect. So I'll update it once the new update comes out on mine as
Yeah, I'll
well.
make a note. Okay.
And then another one that I use too is I think it's under assets. Yeah, this little thing to add to the end of the videos. So it's this little animation. So I always add that to like the ending of the videos just to show it's like a GitLab branded video. So y'all might already have that, but just putting it out there is another thing that you can download. Um, and then music to add to the intro, the beginning and the end, that would I would contact the brand team because we got it from a specific location. I've been using the same one always, but I think maybe we can create like a new folder that has like the sounds or something that we suggest you use.
Yeah, we can add a folder there with some music track options. Right now, we're using a service called Soundstripe for music licensing. So we can download a couple of tracks from there, or if you can log on and do a free account, and then if you find a track you like, you could just message it to us in the brand video chat, and we can download and send it to you.
Awesome, perfect. And yeah, well, and I'll work with Dale and Joanna to then get this stuff, and then I can provide updates on the channel or however once we have that stuff. But yeah, just to continue. So now that I have those new resources, let me go to um, Adobe Premiere. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and add them in. So the easiest way to do that is just to grab them from the folder where you downloaded them. So the Mogarts, and then just grab all of them and just drag them to the graphic templates. And you can drag them all there. And then they already exist for me, but if they don't exist, you'll be able to just add them. So now you'll have them available here in my templates under graphic templates. So then, for example, I can do outline highlight and I can just drag that here and it'll load that. And what that is that highlight thing that comes up that you can see. It's like that little circle thing. So if you see it at the top there, and then I'm gonna just put in another video here just to make it easier for everyone to see stuff instead of having that one. But let me just grab any other video that I have in my movies. Um, where is it? Okay, that's me talking about who knows what. So I'm gonna just put that here, and let's go back to explaining it. Okay, so here's the video of me saying stuff. And then this is the outline highlight. And what I'm going to do is I can uh, click on it. I can go here to the side tab to effect controls. And then what I can do is I can make this smaller. So let's say I want to highlight that picture frame that's there. Then I can drag the X and Y values. And then I can click on position and then move it here towards this position. And then I can just continue to like, make it how it is nicely. And then you see here in the timeline, whenever I press play, you can see that it highlights that little thing. So boom, I'm talking about that. That's one way that it works. And what I can do is, sorry, usually use the bigger screen for this, so excuse me if it's a little hard to see. But you can kind of drag this little thing on the bottom to make it bigger or smaller depending on how long the video is. And you can move these things around to what section you want them in the video. So
Here
you
at
can come
GitLab,
here like that and then you can put it in whatever place that you want essentially. So that's kind of what I do, and you can cut them and make it smaller. So you can also like drag it smaller. And then another thing that you can do is if you go here to effects on the right tab, you can add video transition effects, like having it dissolve. So if we go, um, just mute this right. If you go here, then once it reaches the endpoint, then it'll dissolve nicely as a graphic. So that's how you play with these graphic templates. There'll be other ones like subtext. Maybe you want to like have a little pop-up that comes up, and you can double click on it, and then you can change the text to "Hello, GitLab." And then now the same thing applies. It'll pop up "Hello, GitLab," and then you just need to mess around with like where to put it, how long you want it to be, and then like how you want it to transition away. But that's essentially how I do it with those little pop-ups and those little effects. And I mainly record the screen without the cursor, and then I apply these little highlights to show what you need to click on. I think it makes it easier for the audience to navigate over a busy mouse around. It makes it easier for the audience to figure out what exactly they want to see by this little thing popping up. So that's kind of how I do those little effects. And I usually put them, so if you see this thing on the left, it's like the how the videos are. So usually like um, whatever's in V2 goes over whatever's in V1, and same thing for V3 goes over all of them. So I usually put the effect in the third one because in the second one, I'm going to do the template, which I'm going to show you now. And the template is so in my downloads, I downloaded Mogarts, but I also downloaded the traditional gradient templates. So I can add all these templates over here. So I have all the video templates that I can use. And we make it big screen again. And then I can apply one of these templates. So I can apply, let's say, this one right here. I can put it in the second frame, move this up, let's say. And now if you see this, you show that it shows me in the proper like brand format where it shows me in the center with this particular graphic with the GitLab gradient. So that's one way to do it with that little GitLab gradient. And what you might need to do is adjust the video. So to adjust the video, same thing. Whenever you click on something, it highlights that frame and it gets the properties of that frame. So what you might need to do is once you have this set up, and you've added this to the second video, you can click on one of them. And then what you can do is you can go here and go to Effect Controls just for that video. And then you can scale it. So you can scale it up. Maybe you wanna include more of the frame in there, or maybe it was like this and you want to just make it bigger from how it was recorded, you can do these things and keep yourself in the center of the frame. So that's usually how I do it. And those are really the only effects that I really use is just scaling it and maybe positioning it so that way I can get it in the right place. But that's kind of like the only things that I do is I use the video templates. I record myself, I use the video templates, and then I use the effects, the Mogart's effects to, highlight different things. And that's like really easy to get started. But then when there's times where like you can see the audio down here, right? And this should probably be up there. Okay. So you can see the video with the audio, and then sometimes, I may want to like cut. I may like there may be pauses, and I may want to get to like where I'm actually talking. Well, I can use this little slicing razor tool, and then I can go here and I can cut that video. I can just delete this part right here, and I can just move it towards whatever part of the video that I need. So that's also something I commonly do. And also for screen recordings, let's say I want to show more of a particular screen, like this part of me looking away. Let's say it's a part of like a screen that's something that I really want to capture, me drinking this particular part. Well, I'd cut it, and then what I do is I would, right, just cut the two pieces, let's say. And then what I do is I'd add a frame hold. Like, let's say this is something I just want to hold it in this part. It's usually, this doesn't really make a lot of sense, me drinking the coffee, but let's say you want to show like a particular feature in GitLab, but the video that you recorded was too short. Well, what you do is you click on this, you right click on it, and what you do is you add a frame hold. Um, and then what that means is that now this little part is just going to stay as a hold. So you see it just stays with me drinking that coffee. So you would usually do that in a screen where like let's say when you're recording you went over and you didn't really cover everything that you wanted to. There's not enough time for you to speak on that part. Then you do frame holds and then you do a voiceover over the frame holds. And I'll get into how to do the voiceovers, but those are kind of like the workflows that I use, and then I'll continue on and then add the other part of the video there and work that way. So far and so forth. I mean, I know I've said probably a lot. Does anyone have any questions so far on any of this? Okay, so I'll continue then to the voiceovers. So voiceovers pretty simple. Let's say I want to put um, what is this? Sorry, I don't know that. This little OBS video that I had, right? And I want to actually say something here in this part of the video demo, right? So what I do is it already, since I recorded it already with audio, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna first unlink the audio so I can delete it. So then that's the way it's just gonna be just the visual. And then what I do here is in the first audio track, I right click and I do the voiceover recording settings. And then I pick my device. Usually, there'll be different devices here. Usually I have one of these little mics that I can showing in my hand. It's like a little mic that I can clip on here. And that way I get good audio quality. I mean, there's several ones to look up. I mean, we just got the refresh for buying stuff on GitLab. So look up what microphones would be good. I think maybe Dale and Joanna can recommend one, but usually the ones that clip on that are the little lapel mics are usually like the best ones that I've seen.
Yeah, I'll jump in. In general, we had been talking about uh, thinking it'd be great to help you all order some new equipment for your setups to get like the best quality recordings. And I think John has some budget for this outside of your refresh, so you don't have to use your refresh for it. But making sure you all have good 4K cameras. Dale picked out some ones recently that are really good that we use for some recordings for sales kickoff. And then picked out some nice microphones as well. But these were more like table mics or a mic like I know Caesar has that has like an arm. So there's like two choices where it would be either like a table one or it could have the arm that kind of comes down. I think, yeah, like he has, yeah, those ones are pretty good too. So I would definitely recommend potentially more of a table mic. I think audio potentially could be better. And then I know sometimes with like a lapel, maybe we get some, you know, I don't know, sounds of your clothes or something like that. So I would definitely make that suggestion, and maybe we can talk about like backgrounds as well and lighting. We recently for SKO picked out some really nice lights that can clip onto your desk, and you can get like probably I would recommend like two kind of lights that can come out over here. So yeah, I definitely we can pull something together and send that over to you with some recommendations. But I definitely think like everybody should have two lights, a 4K webcam, and then a good microphone. And then another fun thing would be to like think about everybody's backgrounds and if we want to like get anything cool to have behind you while you're filming. I'm not the best interior designer, but maybe we can come up with some things to get. I don't know if it's like plants or a cool GitLab sign, or something fun like that. I think that would kind of like take things to the next level as well. So
Yeah, plus one to all that. And as Joanna mentioned, we are gonna take some of our budget for this year and spend it on that. That'll probably be in Q1. And yeah, I guess Joanna, how do you feel about like virtual backgrounds?
I do not love virtual backgrounds. I do understand that like we all work from home. Not everybody has like a setup that we could just go and like, order some things to make it look cool, right? We are in our homes and things like that. I think the virtual backgrounds are hard because, you're gonna see like sometimes some like green screen bleed over if we do a green screen, or you see like we're losing body parts as we're moving. So it isn't my favorite thing. I think a well-lit person with a nice background, I think would achieve like the best look. While I know that may not work for everyone, so we might have some situations where we might need to make some exceptions.
Cool. Yeah, but just something to think about, everyone.
Yeah, I even see, John, just to add to that, I've even seen YouTube videos that get a lot of viewership and their background looks like a mess, like they're in like a laundry room or something. I mean, not to say that we want to do that,
No, we don't want to do that.
but I have seen like popular videos like that. Um, awesome. So then once you set up that mic, you just click here and it'll 3, 2, 1, and then you just talk, hey, what's going on? I don't know. And then it came out bad because I'm here in Zoom and I would have to have my speaker off when I'm like recording this, so it wouldn't sound so crazy. But I have my speaker off, and then I just have the mic on, and then I'll just talk, so that way there's no feedback. And then that's usually how I do the voiceover recordings. And so it takes multiple takes and cutting it and doing all that. But these are mostly the tools that you need to pretty much be successful at creating the videos. So you do all that, you put the video together, you use this timeline to kind of align different things, and let me just show you an example of a video that I am working on that Dale just finished reviewing for me. Thank you, Dale. Close all projects. Okay, so I did this, wrong. Yeah, webhook one. And you can see kind of how I've organized everything. I used the template there. I used the same template, but here I just included whatchamacallit, a slide capture, and I just put it and use the same template formatting. And then you can see here that I'm showcasing the different GitLab tools, and you can see where I use. So I tend to nest things, which means that I just grab everything and then I right click and do nest. And you don't necessarily need to do this. It's just something that makes it easier for me, but it puts all the groups of things in one place. For example, all these things are nested in one place instead of all being shown in the main timeline. So what ends up happening is here is you can see, if I zoom in, you can see that let me just mute it so that way it doesn't cause feedback. But you can see here when I press play, as soon as it gets to this red thing, you're going to see in this video screen that it does the little highlight, and then the highlight fades away, and then it goes to the next screen and shows the little highlight, and then the highlight fades away. Oh, well, I'm talking about it and giving the instructions so then people can clearly see that and note that there's no little mouse on there. So this will be similar to like the stuff Cesar that Pi-hole does, where they don't want it without the screen. But now we can kind of do it ourselves and use the GitLab recommended brand graphics and motion graphics. So I tend to do this in all my videos where I'll highlight, where there's something, even if it's small, I highlight exactly where people need to click and what needs to be done. And then at the end, these will be the sound. So this will be like this audio right here is going to be let me just do this before I forget, and then I export it and it's not there. Okay. So then this will be like the intro, and I always put like this is where I put the sound and I put it at a lower decibel level, like 25. And that way, the sound of the music doesn't overpower the sound of you speaking. So, and you'll get that sound. Once I get those sounds from Joanna and Dale, I'll just put them in the folder and we'll just have them there and you can pick and choose which ones are the approved ones. So I think that's what we can do. We can put a list of like approved ones and then you can use them, throughout. Let me see if I can play this without it causing anything. Hello there. My name's Fernando, and I'm a developer advocate here at GitLab. And today Do you hear that? Can you hear the video? Okay, and you hear like that the sound that there's like a little bit of music,
go over one of the newly released features in GitLab 17.
It's like really low, but if you put on like you put on louder, I mean it'll get a little louder, but I usually try to keep it pretty low so it doesn't take away um from the thing. And then I do the same thing here at the end. I'll use like an end clip, and then I do apply an effect here that makes it's called exponential fade. So it starts from lower and goes higher. And to do that, you go to effects, and I think it's audio transitions, and it's exponential fade. And you can just apply that to a sound, and then you can make it, start low and go high over time. So I kind of do that for my videos, so that way, you can have them fade in nice and smooth and then fade out nice and smooth. So that's one thing, and then adding the little GitLab thing when you're done
Subscribe
talking.
button.
So then the little GitLab thing comes out with the sound, and then that closes it off perfectly. So that's kind of like the workflows that I go through to create videos. I mean, I'd be happy to help anybody out if it's their first time doing it. I mean, my goal is to enable everybody to be able to at least create one video per release, so that way we have more content on YouTube and we have more content around like a bunch of different release cases. So hopefully after this, I'd be happy to help everybody out to at least try to aim for getting one video each of us for 17.9, which comes out I think in 2 weeks. So we'll look into doing that. And then finally, once you're ready to export it, it's pretty simple. You just go to export, you give the file a name, and then this should stay the same because you've already set it to 1920 by 1080, frame rate of 60. So there's usually nothing that you need to change on here. And then you just press export, and that's it. So it should be H.264. It will generate an .mp4 file, and you give it a name, and then you just press export, and it'll export it. For some reason, if it's not 1920 by 1080, when you started the project for whatever reason, make sure that under File and where is it? Properties, I believe, or Premiere. Where is it? File.
Project settings. Yep.
Project
Project settings, general.
and then here you can set,
Oh no, it's not there.
You go to sequence, sorry.
Oh, thanks, Dad.
Sequence, and then at the top there, not file.
Sequence.
Sequence.
And
Oh,
then sequence settings.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's where it is. And then here you can set it to, don't do that. I probably have to select the sequence, maybe. Like sequence.
Yeah, it's whatever one you're in currently.
Oh, okay, so I go here, then I go to file. Sorry, I go to sequence settings, and then here you can do this 1920 by 1080. Make sure that this is set here because sometimes if you're recording and you put like a different format file, it makes the sequence whatever the first file that you put as. So this may be off, so just always make sure that this is 1920 by 1080. and that will make sure there's no problems when you export the video. And I think, oh, okay. And then once you're done with that, everyone should have access to um, this platform called
Oh,
frame.io.
I don't think everybody has access. We didn't automatically give everyone access. We gave you access because you were working in it.
Uh,
Um, but yeah, I don't think we have enough licenses for everyone. But we can figure out how to, get it uploaded so we can get everything reviewed.
I can probably do it for everybody. I mean, they can just tag me in the channel and I can just push it up there. I mean, that should be
Okay.
easy enough. Um,
Okay.
so then,
Yeah,
yeah,
I think we have a few more licenses we can give out if somebody's like you doing like a lot of content. But yeah, I don't think we have I don't know how many folks are on your team. Like how many people would it be?
I think it's like, what, 8 people?
Yeah, I don't think we have enough for 8, but probably a few more.
Okay. Well, either way, I mean, I'll help out and I'll like
Okay.
put them there and just tag y'all whenever they're ready for review. But essentially, it's just this DevRel channel, and then I kind of break it down into done and the release. And this one has three. These are already done, but this is an example. If I just put the file up there, and then Joanna or Dale or whoever else will review it, and they'll like leave little reviews like, "Hey, you should do something here. You should do something here," right? And then what I usually do is I fix these things, and then I put a thumbs up once I've completed it, and then you know, I'll fix everything there, and then I'll re-upload the video as like version 2. And then I'll just say, hey, can you give it I fixed all these things. Can you give it a re-review? And then once it's confirmed and it looks good, then I put it here on the YouTube channel. So I'll create, upload videos, upload it. And then I usually provide a descriptive feedback. So I'll usually put the title, GitLab, whatever the release is, and then the name of whatever it is that we released. And then I give it a description on like the feature, its value, and then I provide an outline that breaks down the video into different sections, and then useful links, and then thanks, share, follow. This was like an old tagline that I have. I'll probably have to change this, but that was like an old little thing that I had. Follow me and GitLab for different similar content. And then I just put documentation, Epic, the release post, and then go from there. And then I make these little screens that show, um, like what the video looks like. And maybe we can get some better templates on that. I don't know if we.
Yeah, that's something we have definitely in the works for this year for sure.
Okay, cool. And then right now, I think this is fine. But yeah, in the future, we'll have like better little templates for these
Yep.
videos. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much everything that we see here. So kind of gone over all this. Oh, sound cleanup, and that's the only one that I'll go over, and then I'll bring it down to questions. But for sound cleanup, Dale can tell you about this podcast thing. We looked into it together the other day. I haven't used it yet, but I will for the next video, the Adobe podcast. It's just a web app that you can just put in your audio file and it'll clean up the audio. But what I tend to do is I tend to right now you just highlight anything that's like voice, and then what I do is I go here and I go to Essential Sound, and you can just press this enhance button, and it'll enhance everything that is dialogue and speech. So see how it says audio type as the dialogue for all these clips. It automatically detects what it is, if it's dialogue, if it's like music, if it's noise. And what I can do is I can just highlight them all and click enhance speech, and it actually does a pretty good job of like reducing noise and making it louder and kind of making all the different things level. Like if one thing's higher volume than the other one, it'll level them all out to be about the same volume. So that's pretty much my flow of everything that I do to create a video end to end. So now I guess I can move it to questions. And that's what I have, and hopefully it enables a team. But we got like 4 more minutes because I don't want to take anyone's time, but we can go to questions.
I just want to give Fern a huge kudos. It's amazing to see how you've become such a pro at Premiere and putting these videos together. So I just want to give you a
Bravissimo.
huge kudos. And it's fun watching you go through a training on Premiere and putting these videos together. So it's pretty amazing. So nice work.
No, thank y'all very much. I mean, I owe it all to y'all for enabling me to do this and giving me like the freedom to kind of like, do what I need to and then guiding me on like how I can correct stuff. So you've definitely helped me grow in how I create content. So I'm looking forward to making better content as like, the months come. So hopefully that YouTube Shorts is going to be a fun thing for me for sure.
Yeah, and I think like, yeah, Dale and I are here as a resource to help support you all. We're also happy to like jump on a call and go through something in Premiere or uploading or, recording, whatever it is. We're definitely here to help. And we're also looking forward to really helping up level all of our work this year and working with you all on it. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Yeah. So, anyone, if we want to collaborate async or questions async, let me know. And thank you so much, everybody, for attending.
Yeah, great job, Vern. And I think, the other thing I would just encourage everyone to think about, is like as we level up the production quality and the backgrounds and the lighting, we are going to have, a couple of additional things at our disposal. So Joanna pointed out, like better equipment, better lighting, all that stuff. We're also transitioning to a new agency this year, so we're going to be kind of spending the rest of the dough that we have with Pi-hole, and we'll have Centerline available to us. And so for videos that need kind of additional production quality that we can't, manage with the likes of Fern's expertise, like if we need to level up and have, maybe interactive animations or other things that are beyond our capabilities, we'll have, Centerline at our disposal to help with that. And another thing we've been talking about this year is like really making, like our team more forward in the content at times. And so just as you go about thinking around, the stories you're going to tell, the content you're going to produce, think about how you want to present yourself and kind of level up your skills and abilities, to really make people excited about what we're sharing. Because I think it's like it's going to take all of those different elements really, to get us the results that, we're hoping to get this year. But yeah, great job, Fern, and thanks not just for this session, but just for being such a consistent contributor to YouTube and really keeping that channel fresh and up to date.
Yeah, no, thanks. Appreciate it.
All right, cool. Bye.
Thank you, Fernando.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Thanks, man.